I had never, until now, seen a Beethoven film, which is quite surprising because I grew up in the 90s and I watched mostly animal films. Most of the films I watched were animal based. So the fact that I at least have no recollection of the Beethoven films is a little bit strange. However, I realised that Rhea Perlman is in the 2008 Beethoven's Big Break, and I thought this seemed like a good way to check it out. I did look beforehand to see if I needed to have seen the previous films to follow it, and the answer to that is no, you don't. Did I enjoy it? I would have enjoyed it more when I was younger. There's a lot of running around in place of anything actually interesting happening. There are some interesting moments, but in general, I feel like it's very flashy. There's a lot of running around. The dog is adorable, but the narrative is kind of weak. This was released, as I said, in 2008. It's directed by Mike Elliott, written by Derek Rydall, and we have a cast including Jonathan Silverman, Jennifer Finnigan, of course, as I said, we have Rhea Perlman, and as a film, it's okay. By which I mean it's not necessarily bad, but I didn't think it was particularly great. Beethoven, who is this absolutely gorgeous dog, again, don't know why I'd never seen any Beethoven films because the dogs always look so beautiful. He is walking along one day and he meets Billy, who is a little boy, and his father, Eddie, was actually an animal trainer. And obviously, Billy takes Beethoven home. He seems like a stray dog. I understand why he would do this. His father obviously doesn't want this giant dog around the house. But without going into too much detail, Beethoven ends up going to the set where Eddie was previously working, and it seems like things are going to go really well for Beethoven. And there are people who maybe want to try and steal Beethoven, which partly explains a lot of the running around. It is very, very fast, but also not a tremendous amount happens at the same time. Billy is a very likable protagonist, though, and Beethoven is absolutely adorable. So, visually, there were some appealing things with the dog, and the characters were quite likable. So, there are some good things about it. I wouldn't say, as I said, it's not necessarily a bad film. I just don't necessarily think it's a particularly great film either. So, it may be worth watching if you're a fan of dog based films, but if you're looking for an interesting narrative, it's not that great. It's fine. It's not amazing. Does it make me want to watch other Beethoven films? I'm not hurrying to do so. However, I do love dog based films, so maybe at some point I will. If you have any thoughts on the other Beethovens, if you think any of them are particularly strong and worth checking out, please feel free to share that information. Personally, not going to rush to. Also, Rhea Perlman was great in this. She's in it a decent amount, so if you're a Rhea Perlman fan and you're thinking of watching this, I think you'll certainly enjoy her in this. Not a perfect film. I didn't fall in love with Beethoven as a film series, but I guess I didn't mind watching it.